And sorry about that. I don't always get all my Twitter messages. So the one where you sent the invite, like it didn't tell me that that was something was there. I didn't get to something that you said, "Hey, you're having problems." I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, because I forgot to get your phone. That's the reason why I sent it through Twitter.
Yeah,
I normally do it to the phone.
I gave you my phone number when we first talked the other day.
Oh, see, I forgot to put it down. That's what it
Oh,
was.
okay.
So, and I didn't
It's
look through them. Yeah, I see it right here. I forgot to put it. But it's all good. Either way you got through. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How has your? Well, I guess since it's Monday, how is your weekend?
Fairly uneventful. Nothing going
Oh
on.
God. Oh, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So, you are a heavy set male talent,
I am.
and I like to call you a dad bod. You know, like I said, like you, my man Rico Blaze and stuff. Actually, I consider y'all heroes because I get sick and tired of seeing 6-pack, muscle bound dudes doing all the fucking in these scenes when half the people that's buying these scenes ain't got a 6-pack half the damn time.
Well, that's definitely a big part of my brand. I don't like to call myself a dad bod. I think I'm a little bit too big for the dad bod. I identify more as a BHM, which stands
Mm-hmm.
for big handsome. It's
Mm-hmm.
basically the masculine equivalent to BBW.
W, yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely, most definitely, most definitely. So, have you done any shoots recently in the past couple of
Uh,
weeks? Any?
oh yeah, Christmas. I'm always busy at Christmas time. It's my third year doing Santa Claus, so yeah, I had a
Oh,
really busy December.
okay, okay. Who did you work with?
I worked with Kyla Keys. I worked with Penny Peacock.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember everyone. I'd have to go back and look at my calendar, everybody I worked with.
Mm.
So it kind of all blends together sometimes. Um, but yeah, no, I did. Marie Daly, I worked with her. Did some Santa stuff. So yeah, I'm
Oh,
just
cool.
yeah. That's always a busy time for year for me at the
Yes, Marie Daly. Marie Daly is a smoke buddy out this piece. How was he working with her?
Oh, she's great. She's great, and she was she's great to work with. She's real chill. And I actually got my first paid work as Santa this year. I got hired by Valentina Bellucci
Nice.
for her. She runs a taboo website, so that was a little bit different. So like when I do my Santa Claus, I'm actually playing Santa. I'm not
Mm.
playing someone pretending to dress up as Santa, but for that one particular scene that I
Mm.
was hired for by Valentina, I was playing her stepbrother who dressed up as Santa to trick her, basically.
Oh, snap. Hello? Hello?
Okay. I am so sorry, but I did not realize that when I tabbed out of the invitation, it stopped
Yeah.
recording my microphone. I did not realize that. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
That's all good.
Yeah. Cause
Now,
I went and I pulled up my calendar to look at things. So,
yeah,
but yes,
yeah,
I didn't realize it cut my microphone off there.
yeah, that's
My
all good.
my apologies.
Yeah.
I
So,
won't touch my phone then.
so I know it feel good to have a paid gig out this piece.
Oh
And
yeah.
how was that shoot like? So you said you was pretending you was a stepbrother pretending to be Santa Claus.
Yeah, basically, she wrote a letter to Santa, and me as a stepbrother, I find the letter, and I'm like, "Hey, I can trick her. I can pretend to be Santa and tell her, you let me have sex with you, and I'll bring you all this stuff on your wish list that you sent to me." And
Mm.
yeah, so then yeah, while we're having sex, she figures out it's me, her stepbrother,
Mm-hmm.
and not really Santa Claus. Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting scene for sure, most definitely.
Oh yeah.
That's how I got was a fun ass scene out of this piece. So
Yeah,
shoot, I mean, go ahead.
I was just saying, like I said, it was fun because it was different than what I normally do with my Santa Claus stuff. Because, like I said, when I normally do Santa, I'm not, I'm playing the actual real Santa Claus and not pretending that I'm just a dude dressed up as Santa. So it was a nice
Yeah.
departure.
Yeah, because I figured they probably, because I figured you being like, you know what I'm saying, a bigger dude, that a lot of people will probably want to holler out doing a Santa Claus scene, you know, period,
Oh,
for sure.
well, and it's not just that I actually look more like Santa Claus, but I've
Yeah.
actually invested a great deal of money into my Santa Claus outfit. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
just wearing the cheap off the rack Walmart costume that you can find at the holiday season or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
My whole Santa getup, I've invested over $500 into my whole Santa getup.
Damn.
So, just like so, any of those suits that you buy, the belts they come with are really cheap vinyl, and as soon as you
Yeah.
sit down, your belly stretches the belt out, and it becomes useless. So, the
Mm-hmm.
leather belt, I had a custom leather belt made 2 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
just the belt was $100.
Damn.
So, why?
Yeah,
Because
you were mad and put money behind your shit.
well, yeah, because the Santa Claus stuff is always very, very popular. So
Mm-hmm.
it's worth that investment. I've had models travel to Vegas from out of state just to do Santa Claus content.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a
Hey.
worthwhile investment. The
Mm-hmm.
next thing I hope I can do is convince some of these bigger studios, because all the big studios put out holiday content, put out Santa content, but
Yeah.
it's always some skinny guy in a cheap suit. I want to
Mm-hmm.
be able to go to these studios and say, hey, maybe this year consider hiring a quality
Hey,
Santa Claus.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it makes sense that it's authentic, that it's a big guy, you know, period.
yeah,
Just because you're a big guy doesn't mean you don't have a big dick. Let's keep it 100. Because some
oh
big
yeah,
big boys do be packing that. Don't get it twisted.
yeah.
So look, let me do these particulars so we can get this on the road, okay?
Okay, all right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Smokers Lounge here on Anchor, the perfect app. For anyone who's trying to start their own podcast career, all you got to do is download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get yourself a profile and start podcast today. I'm your host, Kavanaugh the Southern Champ, aka the porn rap star. Y'all know what it is. Find all my links. I'm talking about my porn links, my music links, as well as my social media links, all with one link. I'm talking about allmylinks.com/porn rap star. Also, we have two wonderful sponsors. The first one being the Facebook and LS community, lsworld.com. Go there today and get yourself a profile, as well as the hottest erotic magazine in the world right now. I'm talking about eroticismmagazine.com. Go there today, get yourself a subscription. You can either get it paperback or you can get it digital. Either way, get it. And you get to watch some of the sexiest ladies from around the world do some freaky shit within their pages. Also, we're a proud member of the GW District Black Podcasting Network, talking about multiple podcasts, giving you the Black experience. Plus, while you're there, experience a great shop. You get the opportunity to buy products from over 500 Black-owned retailers and shops selling strictly to you. So go to shopgwdistrict.com, buy Black, support Black businesses, build the Black commons, and create generational wealth. Also, we have a new smoke spot. I can't talk much. I can't talk. I'm just messing up. We got a new spoke spot that I have to be proud about. I'm talking about Skyhawk After Dark TV. Go there today and listen to the podcast via on their radio station or on my page. So go to Skyhawk After Dark TV.com and catch us on the new smoke spot. And now I'm gonna sit back and let this big handsome man introduce himself.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Vinnie O'Neil, and that is O'Neil with two L's. I am a big handsome man, as our generous host just introduced me as, also referred to as BHM, masculine version of BBW, trying to carve out my own path here in the adult industry.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Now, the one thing I do notice when you first got in the game, there wasn't a lot of guys with your body types. Did you think that was going to hurt you?
Well, yes and no. There's certainly guys in the industry who have come before me who are definitely in the BHM category.
Mm-hmm.
But looking back at the guys who came before me, most of them either by choice or just because of the direction the industry forced them into, were relegated to a niche gross out category.
Mm-hmm.
Most of either they played cuckolds or there was always something where they were belittled in some way.
Mm-hmm.
The minion who used to film for the Dog Fart Network, he's an example. All of his stuff involved having food smeared all over his body and the girls telling him how gross he was.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to take a different approach. I see myself as a talent who happens to be a BHM, not a BHM who happens to be a talent. So my size and my body type are not the primary focus of what I do. They do
Mm-hmm.
play a role in it because there's certainly a fan base that likes the bigger guys, and I absolutely cater to that fan base. But
Mm-hmm.
I am very strict about not doing anything humiliating, anything that mocks guys for this or mocks anybody. Like nothing I do is mean or degrading or
Mm-hmm.
humiliating, because I think like I have no problem with anyone who wants to do something like that, but that's not what I want to do. So I wanted to do something a little bit different than some of the guys who came before me, and
Mm-hmm.
try to appeal to a bit wider audience.
Okay. Then. So, what brought you into the industry?
Um, it was a friend of mine who I call her industry adjacent. She runs a ManyVid, she runs an OnlyFans, but she doesn't
Mm-hmm.
attend industry events. She doesn't work with other industry talent. She does primarily solo photos and videos, and occasionally does videos with a guy she happens to be dating at the time, things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
back in the fall of 2018, she asked me if I would be willing to do a POV blowjob video for her platforms. And I'm like, you want to suck my dick? Okay. Like, just I mean, how often do you get a girl asking if you want a blowjob? And like
Yeah.
it was like 3 minutes. It's just POV, just me holding her phone, and I had a lot of fun doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that AVN, being in Vegas, being a Vegas local, AVN comes every year. There was a model that I was a fan of at the time by the name of Lil Mina. She's since retired from the industry. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that she just from having purchased her content in the past, I knew that she did shoots with fans. You basically would hire her just like anybody would hire, like any studio would hire her to do a shoot, and she would film it and sell it on her ManyVids, and you got to appear in one of her videos. So I reached out to her for that and set that up with her to take place in January of 2019. But in the intervening months from when I first reached out to her and when we actually filmed, I kind of said to myself, hey, I'm going to have the one thing that no guy ever has, and that's a reference from somebody within the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I created my porn persona, my porn Twitter, and I just started reaching out to other models saying, "Hey, my name's Vinny. I'm going to be filming my very first scene at AVN with Little Mina." And I was fortunate enough to find a couple of other models willing to work with me. And I approached AVN 2019 as a one-time thing. I went
Mm-hmm.
into it thinking to myself, "Hey, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have this experience, but it's likely never gonna go anywhere." Well, fast forward to January 2022, and it's been my full time career ever since. And it
Mm-hmm.
just, I came out of the gate, I took off, and I never stopped.
Oh, that my goodness. So now, be it that, like I said, you being a heavier set man, how
Mhm.
did the ladies react to you when you hit them up as far as shooting content? Because I know that there's some females that let's on that shallow how bullshit.
All right,
Period.
so it was certainly a mixed reaction. I would say overwhelmingly it was positive. I say I've received more of a positive reaction than a negative one by far. One of the people I first reached out to was actually very enthusiastic about wanting to work with me. And I actually spoke to her for like every day for 2 weeks. She wasn't going to be coming out for AVN, but she was planning a trip to Vegas later in the year. So we talked for a couple of weeks, and she gave me some advice and things like that. And then when it came closer to the time for her trip, I reached back out again and said, "Hey, do you have dates yet? Do you want to go ahead and schedule something?" She goes, "Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, I can't actually work with you." I'm like, "Wait, what do you mean?" She goes, "Well, you're fat and my fans won't like that." And I have no problem. People should only work with who they want to work with. So I never have a problem with
Mm-hmm.
rejection. But it was surprising to me because I literally had spent 2 weeks chatting with her, and she seemed very excited about working with me, even though I was brand new.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and apparently, when I reached out to her and I gave her all my information, she never bothered to actually look at me. She never bothered to look at a picture of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't until, several weeks later when we were actually trying to set a date that and she said, "Oh, my fans won't like you because you're a bigger guy." And it was like, and again, I have no problem with anyone rejecting me ever. Like, hey, just you
Mm-hmm.
work with who you want to work with. That's totally
Mm-hmm.
understandable. But I personally felt that was unprofessional. I'm like, hey, I sent you links to my social media when we first started talking. Why didn't you take a look at it back then and reject me back then instead of giving me all this excited
Yeah.
words of encouragement for literally for 2 weeks? It's like, so that was kind of a downer. And that's something that I've been working towards trying to fix within our industry, because that's
Mm-hmm.
the number one reason I get rejected. It's not necessarily that the female is unwilling to work with me because I'm big, but that they're worried that their fans won't like the content. And
Mm-hmm.
my motto is, if you produce diverse content, you'll create a diverse fan base. But if you
Well,
limit
see,
yourself.
I'm gonna tell you what the girls make. See, once again,
Mhm,
it goes back to the adage with the BBWs that they
mhm,
ran into. Men are more subjective to spend money on porn
mhm,
of girls that they feel they have a chance of getting than that of girls they don't. Part of that is you have them shoot with guys that look like the guys that are watching.
right.
And so people can understand it's not that it makes the guy that's watching see and say, I think I can do porn. No, that's not it.
Mhm,
It's the average dude that's buying this porn, he's not in the weight room, 6 pack, 6'6", big muscular guy. He works a 9 to 5. He drinks beer. He might have a gut. He might be weighing
mhm,
300 pounds. He might weigh 250. He might weigh 150. He's the average dude. So it would make one, it would endear the female even more to the fan base because one, it's like you fucking a fan almost. And if they feel they got a chance to fuck you, it's gonna make them spend more money. It's called
Oh,
psychology.
and that's absolutely true. And again, that's something that when I'm talking to talent and trying to set up shoots, I relay to them all of the positive stories that I hear. Like, there's so many models that I've worked with that I'm the first bigger guy. I'm the first BHM that they've ever worked with in their careers. And
Mm-hmm.
once they work with me and they release a scene with me, they're flooded with messages. "Oh my God, thank you so much. He looks just like me." I've heard that from
Yeah.
so many models that
It,
I've
it, it
worked with.
it's the
Yeah.
same reason why you also work with a BBW
Hmm.
because there's men that want to see real ass women. They don't want to see the fluff dolls.
Oh,
They don't
absolutely.
see the fake tits all the time. So it the problem is that a lot of these chicks is kind of I'm just to keep it 100. A lot of these chicks pick their time based on who the hell they want to fuck.
That's
It's
true as
not
well. That
about
is true.
business. It's not about
Hmm.
business. It's not about if this person can make money. Because trust me, the conversation was never did Vinny make sales for you? No, it was can Vinny eat that pussy and Vinny can fuck because that's why the girls judge their talent a lot of times. We judge our talents different because we do look at numbers in some ways, period. And also we kind of got to work with who's willing to work with us, period. Because I got pigeonholed into many times where girls, like skinny girls, like, you sure I'm the right one for you? Because I can't help that I work with a bunch of BBWs because them the ones that want to do content trade. What I supposed
Right.
to do?
Right. And so like for me, my philosophy is I want to work with everyone. I don't care if you're skinny, I don't care if you're BBW, I don't care if you're short, I don't care if you're tall. I don't care if you're white or you're a person of color. I try as hard as I can to produce content with as many diverse talents as possible. So that way someone can, and the other thing I don't do is I don't segregate my content. I don't separate, like, I don't have different stores for BBWs. I don't have different stores for trans. Like, everything is all in one place. And
Mm-hmm.
so it doesn't matter what somebody is into, you're almost guaranteed to find something that you like on my stores. Do you like BBWs? I got BBWs. Do you like women of color? I got women of color. Do you like trans women? I got
Mm-hmm.
trans women. Do you like
Mm-hmm.
the skinny cis white females under the age of 25 like you find in the big studios?
Mm-hmm.
I got those too. I have every different thing, and it's allowed me to create a fan base to where I don't have fans saying, don't work with this type of person, don't work with that type of
Mm-hmm.
person, because they know it's pointless to say something like that to me, because I work with literally everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that heckler's veto that I think gets in the
Mm-hmm.
way the most of diverse content getting produced in our industry, because you'll have a
Mm-hmm.
very loud but small minority of fans yelling at these girls, sending them abusive emails and DMs and everything, trying to tell these girls only work with, this type of talent, whether they only want them working with a certain race or a certain body type or a certain ethnicity. There are definitely a lot of toxic fans in those
Mm-hmm.
in the industry, and
See,
unfortunately those.
I think the
Mhm.
problem is that men, we don't listen to the bullshit the fans say. We listen to the numbers. Women don't even look at the numbers because
I've seen it go both ways for sure.
what I'm saying. The reason why I say that is because, for example,
Mhm.
if I'm making money and she's paying attention, she said I done shot. Let's say with Mr. O'Neil here. Mr. Actually is my top selling scene. You feel what I'm saying? Common
Mhm.
sense. He's one of my top sellers. Let me hit him back up.
And I've had
As
that. I've
men,
definitely had
yeah,
that.
you feel where I come from, yeah. But a lot of times they don't look at that. They listen to their fan base, just like you have girls who sit there and say, well, part of the reason I want to do boy girl because I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my fan base if I do. Not realizing you're actually gaining a fan base if you do. You feel what I'm coming from? You know,
Well,
it's go ahead.
I'll say there's a definite give and take, because I definitely know plenty of female models that as soon as they even talk about working with another guy, their fans get upset with them. I mean, so there's I don't like lumping everyone in saying, oh, they only do this or they only do that, because I've literally seen it go.
Yeah.
I've literally seen it go both ways.
Oh, trust me, I have too.
I've had talent that tell me they base everything on their sales, and there's other ones
uh,
that are basing it
yeah.
on their fans' comments. And
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely a delicate situation that we all got to find balance. But again, that's why I personally, from the very beginning, have focused on producing diverse content. That way,
Mm-hmm.
I've never limited myself. I've never focused on a niche, made a bunch of money on that niche, and then if I try to deviate from that niche, I end up upsetting my fans. I've avoided that, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
the industry as a whole will do better if it's like, look, if you just produce the more diverse content in terms of
Mm-hmm.
not only who you're working with, but the type of content that you produce, that
Mm-hmm.
we can start to break down those walls and break down those barriers to where we don't have a toxic fan base controlling who we're working with.
Now, let's go back a little bit because it's something that you brought up. And I'm
Okay.
glad that you actually said this. You film with transsexuals, am I correct?
Yes, I do work with trans talent. Yes.
Okay. Have you caught fire because of it?
Have I caught fire? No.
Okay.
But I mean, I have run into other talent in the industry who push that completely unfounded homophobic stigma of trans people being at a higher risk for things like HIV, which is complete and utter nonsense. But no,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that I've caught fire for it. And again, that's one of the reasons why is that I've built a brand that's attracted a fan base that
Mm-hmm.
is not bigoted in that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's by so there's people I know that work with cis talent and trans talent, but they take
Mm-hmm.
all of the trans content and they shuffle it off to a separate website or separate clip store. But again,
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that. So it's never a shock or a surprise to my fans when I work with trans talent because I treat them equally as any of the cis talent that I work with. I don't
Hey,
discriminate. I
I
don't
mean,
segregate.
and two,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna front. This puts you actually in a very unique position because there's not a lot of male talents that shoot with trans. So that means you actually gets a lot of opportunity to work with actually some of the top ones in the business.
That thankfully is there's a lot. It's becoming a lot more common for male talent to work with trans, which I'm happy to
Mm-hmm.
see. But it definitely go back 3 years ago. There were definitely
Oh no.
fewer independent male talents willing to work with trans
Man,
because
dude,
they were afraid. They were
when
afraid
I
of being
came in,
stigmatized.
dude, when I came into
Yeah,
business, you got blackballed. That's how bad
yeah,
it was back then. You
oh yeah,
got blackballed, period. And shouts out to Christian Triple X who survived the blackball. He told them to go fuck
yeah,
themselves. And you see what
right,
he's been doing ever
yeah,
since.
yeah,
So shout out to him, goddamn it. But
and
yeah.
yeah, for those rare occasions where I have received negative comments for fans, I respond to that by doubling down. Like if a fan
Yeah.
gets mad that I'm working with trans, I'm like, nope, okay, I'm gonna put this in your face. I work with trans talent, and I'm happy to work with trans talent. Like I never shy
But
away from something like that. I never
but
I
but
never
but
let those
but let,
fans tell me what to do.
let's be real. 75% of our goddamn male fan base is gay.
What
Be
the
real.
but but
Seven,
that's another tricky subject because trans women or women doing trans porn is not gay porn, but there
yeah.
is I've had the most difficulty with my gay and bi followers
Uh,
getting them to understand that the
yeah.
my gay and bi followers see me working with trans talent and then they ask me, hey, if you're willing to work with so and so, why won't you work with a gay man? I'm like, because I'm not attracted to men. A trans woman is not a man. A trans woman is a woman. But the gay and bi community, that's actually where I've run into the most issue is they assume that, working with one person with a penis means I'll work with anybody else with a penis. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not attracted to men. If I'm not attracted to
See,
men,
that's
my dick's not gonna get hard. Yeah.
it's like an oxymoron. It's like I said, let's say you take a transitional woman who, of course, went from becoming a man to
Mhm.
physically a woman, was let's say it's straight. That means she only been with men, right? I mean,
Mhm.
excuse me. He only been with, let's say, women. But then when become transgender, continues to deal with only women, would you call see, they couldn't even answer that question right because would you call her lesbian or would you call
Yeah. No,
you
she would be lesbian. No,
see
she would be
bingo
lesbian.
see that what I'm saying? So it's kind of like to me it's when it comes to our fan base is LBQ. It's the community. That's
Mhm.
why it's like the way that sometimes men handle their content trade with the women. Well, I don't want you to put it out before me. And dude, her fan base is nothing like yours. No, our fan base, they're coming to see us fuck who we fuck. And if 9 times out of 10, if they're in the community, they want to see us fuck who we fucking. Period. Actually, I done had transgender sit there and say, no, we don't want to see you jerk off. We want to see you fuck because we want to imagine that it's us that you're fucking. and that's what we cater to. So to you doing transsexual, transgender talent is not a bad thing. And to me, if that's who you are, that's who you are. Period. I think to me, like I tell anybody, do what you do in your normal bedroom. Because at the end of the day, that's a lane that's out there that no one is tapping into, period. Because think
Right.
about it. Brazer, they finally filmed the transgender,
They are.
period. Yeah, so it's kind of to the point that becoming a norm. And to me, I don't think we should separate any fucking more. I didn't even like when they were doing it back then. Because I'm like, why?
Well,
Because now as
because
I go ahead.
I'll say it's the transgender community was definitely exploited for a very long time within the industry,
Yes.
and they were fetishized very heavily. But again, like you said, I don't separate mine because I don't want to do that. I don't want the trans person I'm working with to feel like I'm working with them only because they're transgender. That's not my focus. It's like, no, you're a person. I want to work with you. That's it. It's simple as that. It's like you're a human being. I want to work with you because I want to work with literally everybody. And that's kind of how my start working with the transgender community started. Was I went to talent testing here in Vegas, and anyone that's been in talent testing knows they have the business. You can put your business cards up. So like when other talent come in, you can discover each other. And there was a card there for talent by the name of Lisa Lace. She's actually a good friend of mine now. I picked up her card from talent testing, not knowing she was transgender. I got home, started looking, following her on Twitter and stuff like that. And then that's when I learned she was transgender. And in my head, I'm like, my opinion of her was exactly the same. When I saw her card, I'm like, hey, she's cute. I'd like to work with her. I get home, I discover that she's transgender, and in my head, I'm like, she's still cute. I still want to work with her, and it's just it's just like that. Finding out she was transgender did not change my opinion of her. And then the opportunity came. We happened to both be in LA for different reasons, and I reached out to her. I'm like, hey, I can come by today. We can film something. And I had an absolutely fantastic experience working with her. And I've been working with transgender talent ever since. It was literally one of my best experiences. Filming was that very first scene with her. She was just an absolute delight to work with. And so if you asked me before I got in the industry would I work with trans talent, I would have said I have no idea. I've never thought of it. But that experience of seeing her card, saying, "Ooh, hey, I want to work with her," and then going through that discovery process and realizing my opinion of her in no way changed, learning that she was transgender, and I'm like, okay, hey, fantastic.
So is it safe to say you're pansexual?
I don't like labels, but I think pansexual is probably the closest thing.
Yeah.
I'm attracted. No. I'm attracted to individuals. Basically, it's just.
Yeah.
I mean, there are even a couple of men that exist in this world that I am sexually attracted to. Jensen Ackles, who plays Dean Winchester on the TV show Supernatural. I would allow that man to do so many things to me, just like, oh my God,
which one from Supernatural? Wait a second, you said Dean, right?
Yeah, Dean Winchester. The actor's name is Jensen Ackles.
Favorite, he's my favorite. Don't get it twisted. I have a man crush on him. I'm not gonna go as far as fucking do, but I do have a man crush on him. Don't. I love Dean.
Here's the thing. I am not a bottom. But I would let Jensen Ackles fuck the shit out of me if he wanted to. I would just let him do things to me, and that's how I am. Like there are men in this world I'm attracted to.
Like they're scared to say other men are attractive. I mean, honestly, if a man's attractive, man's attractive. That doesn't mean that you're gay or you want to fuck him. It's attractive. I mean, period. Right. I'm sorry.
and for me, the attraction, it's not just a physical thing. Like, because if you look at Jensen Ackles, yes, he is a handsome man, but it's just for so many years watching him and especially watching him do interviews and behind the scene things and
Yeah.
interacting with it. Like, I'm attracted to the individual is what I'm
Yeah.
attracted to.
Yeah. It's he's a cool dude. Like
Oh yeah.
like one of my other favorite guys that I can say I have a man crush on is I can't think of his fucking name. I lost his name. He played in Venom. The guy that played in Venom.
Oh, Tom Hardy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I said yes. If I
Yeah.
was into men, yeah.
My
Yeah.
other man crush is Timothy Oliphant.
Trying to think who he is.
He was on the show Justified and Deadwood.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, oh,
yeah,
oh! I love
yeah.
him. I love him. Yes, he rocked
Yes,
Justified. He rocked
yeah,
Justified, and I remember
yeah,
Deadwood.
yeah.
Oh God! See it. That's why I said it's okay. I mean, that's the one thing I think
Hmm.
we sometimes just take the masculinity a little too far. Because, like I
Right.
said before, it's like to me, for example, like when Eddie when they was tripping off of him because he was talking about Sydney Star. Let's keep it 100. Sydney Star is fine as shit. I'm sorry, that's the finest woman I ever seen. Yes, she don't have a dick, she just have a big clit. But the point being is if that's what a person's into, that's what they're into. And I think we're in a day and age where the shock is gone, people. Let's be real. The shock is fucking gone. I'm like it. I'm just. I mean, really, because it's because to me, for people to even be shocked anymore of anything, why would you be?
Right.
Because the way it's being pushed, and it's not. I'm not saying that it's bad or good.
Mm.
It's indifferent. It's yes, we tolerance is being pushed as far as in the racial, as far as homosexuality, all that stuff. The reason why, because this is a part of our world. This has always been a part of our world. As much as
Hmm.
people want to close their eyes and want to throw religion and all that crap, bruh, motherfucker. Back in Rome, they want no such thing as homosexuality. Is I like it, I fuck it. Let's go.
Well, and I'm right there with it. My thing is no children, no animals. As long as no children, no animals, you be
I'm
you. You go do what you want.
yeah,
No children, no animals. Other than that, go be happy.
yeah, because it like to me, I mean, it's what makes you happy out of this piece. Like I said, I mean,
Hmm.
me personally, I would never do a transgender. They just
Hmm.
because I just could not be able to do it. But would I give him a hug and a kiss on the lips? You're damn right. There's
Right.
some beautiful women, beautiful,
Yeah.
gorgeous. Yes, it is. But look, let's get to the part of the show where the pussies go dry and the dicks go limp. Let's talk about the business, man.
All right.
This is the business. Now, you been in business how long? You been doing this so far?
3 years. 3 years as of this month.
Okay, then. Now, from from the time you started to now, especially when you started putting out your own content, the sites and everything, speak to the up and downs of the money, because not every month is great, you know. And what some of the things that you might do to help boost your sales with promotions or what have you.
Uh,
A lot of people have a misconception of the money that they automatically think you're gonna get rich by jumping into this, and don't even understand the work behind it.
Consistency in a release schedule. I for the time periods when I can put out 1 to 2 scenes a week to where like right now just I feel like I did a lot of Santa content and stuff like that, but I'm short on non-holiday content. So I can see a definite difference between having content release and not having content release. The more frequently and more consistently you can release content, That bumps you up in like any of these sites. They're like any, like especially the clip stores. They have like the recently posted section and stuff like that. It definitely, I can see a direct drive in both my sales and my page clicks, to where, hey, this is a week where I released a scene, this is a week I didn't release a scene, and I consistently make more money when I'm releasing content versus when I'm not releasing content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the main thing of it is that you have to be consistent in this business
Mm-hmm.
in order to see the money anyway. Because it's like, can't no one say and tell me that you make it that you don't have much that you didn't see a check. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
Period. You have some of the best months. And what I hate is when one thing society did with OnlyFans, everything, they made it seem like what we do was easy. It wasn't a lot of work, didn't take a lot of effort, didn't take a lot of time, no patience, none of that shit. Period.
I hate seeing news stories like that. I actually just saw a headline. I didn't read the article, but I saw a headline just a couple of days ago, how it's some, pretty young white girl in her 20s giving an interview how she's making $60,000 a month on OnlyFans, and it's super easy and anyone can do it. I'm like, no. I'm sorry, sweetheart. You're the exception. At $60,000 a month, you're in a very rare class of people that most of us don't see that level of success. And it is definitely not easy. I put in more hours doing this job every week than any job I've ever held in I'm 40 years old. I've held a lot of different jobs in my life before getting in the industry, and I put in more time into this job than any job I've ever worked, ever.
Mm. Yeah. This is a job,
Oh
actually.
yeah.
All intents purposes,
Yeah.
because
Well, I
just the
just
promotion alone.
Yeah, well, what the rule of thumb that I found is, for every 1 minute of video that someone sees. So, like, say I have a 15-minute video.
Mm-hmm.
Every 1 minute of that video, I spent 10 minutes making that video happen. So, if you're watching a 15-minute video, there was 150 minutes that I spent making that video happen. Everything from reaching out to the talent, discussing exactly what we're going to film, scheduling it, figuring out, how we're going to film it, the location for the filming, getting tested, setting up the lights, actually filming the scene, tearing down the lights, editing the content, uploading the content. There's literally like a 10-to-1 ratio, and that doesn't include any things like social media promotion and marketing that just goes on a daily basis. It's literally, if I'm releasing a 15-minute video, I spent at least 150 minutes making just that one video happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's a lot of
And,
work for sure.
and see, I'm retired, so I ain't got nothing new coming down the pipe. So I got the hard task of reintroducing shit. So,
Mm-hmm. Well,
so
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
now what you about to say?
I just say that I'm actually at a point now where I've been doing this long enough, and I've released over 200 scenes. I'm at the point now to where, like, times right now where, like, I'm short on content. What I need to do is I need to go, and I've done this a few times in the past, but I need to step up my efforts on it. Is take some of my older scenes that I released when I first started and I didn't really know what I was doing, and basically remastering those scenes, going through the editing process a second time to improve the
Mm-hmm.
quality, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And also releasing compilations, like,
Yeah.
with over 200 scenes. Like, I focus a lot on repeat series where I'm, doing the same thing. And I found
Mm-hmm.
that the fans, at least my fans, they like a story driven narrative. I'm not just turning a camera on and having sex with someone. There's usually some sort of story or dialogue. So I have more than enough footage where I can start making compilation videos that are like an hour or 2 hours or even 3 hours long. It's like, hey, if you want to buy a compilation of all of these different scenes, like if you want to buy all of my cream pie scenes, like here's,
Mm-hmm.
I probably have close to 100 cream pie scenes. So like I can make multiple different cream pie compilations and start putting those, and by doing that, even though it's existing content, I can put those compilations out for people. Because like, say you wanted to buy every cream pie scene from me, that would be very, very expensive, but I can make a longer single compilation and
Mm-hmm.
put that out, at a price that's discounted compared to buying every scene individually.
Mm-hmm.
And just by doing that, that gives me a new video to posting a new video
Mm-hmm.
gets me additional views get me additional sales, and it's all just about feeding those sales numbers.
Okay, most definitely. Now, I got to ask you a hard question.
All right.
Now, now I've been talent as a male producer for many years, and I know how other male talents can be. Now, you being, like I said, of the head, to be the big handsome man.
Mm-hmm.
What's have you been able? Have you had any negative or positive response from your fellow male talents?
I've definitely had both. Hectic Desires, who I know you interviewed him not
Yeah.
long ago. He was one of the very first people I met in the industry. That first weekend at AVN back in 2019, I met him
Mm.
that weekend, and he's been a constant source of inspiration and positivity for me. Just things he said to me personally, and watching the work that he produces. On the negative side, I think the thing I get most often, and I hear about it secondhand from models. I'll work with a particular model, and then I'll hear from them, they'll get messaged by other male talents going, hey, what the fuck, I've known you for X number of years, you've never worked with me, why did you work with that fat piece of shit Vinny? And yeah, and what
I
uh
don't laugh, but I'm not surprised. But go ahead, continue.
Well, it honestly, it comes down to attitude, and like one of the models who told me what another male talent had said to them, she responded straight back. She goes, "That right there, that's why I haven't worked with you, because you're rude and entitled. You feel entitled to work with me, But Vinny approached me in a professional manner, and sometimes in situations, it simply just comes down to being in the right place at the right time. Being in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
we're probably the second largest pool of talent outside of LA. But one of the big differences is people here in Vegas, there's a lot more content trade going on between the independent creators. Like if you go out to LA and try to do content trade,
Mm-hmm.
basically those studio talents there only do content trade with other studio talents. They don't go working with the other independent talent like myself most of the time. But here in
Mm-hmm.
Vegas, we're a lot more open. We're a lot more accepting of people. So yeah, there's definitely been times where I've worked with someone who's been in the industry for a really long time, done a lot of mainstream work, and I get the opportunity to do content trade with them because I happen to
Yeah.
live here,
See,
compared to some
yeah,
of the guys that live out in the middle of nowhere that are trying to
yeah, cause
get these girls to
yeah,
fly across
because you in
country.
Vegas, yeah,
Yeah.
because everybody come to Vegas.
Yep.
No
Pretty
matter how
much.
you skinny it, everybody come to Vegas.
Yep.
So it's like, to me, the three hubs you can't lose
Mhm.
is Florida, New York, and Vegas, because everybody come to them spots no matter what. So because I know that when you were talking about your filming, I know with you being in Vegas, I know you're able to probably shoot at probably a much higher frequency than the average guy probably could anyway. Plus
Oh,
access to
absolutely.
ladies
Absolutely.
in
Mhm.
ways that guys can't get to. Because it's funny how, like I said, the competition amongst men in this business is not money, it's pussy. That's the funny part about this shit. It's pussy.
Well, yeah, I wish there wasn't competition. I don't know why guys have to be in competition with each other. I'm very much of the mindset of, because I get asked a lot, because models that I talk to, hey, I'm going to be coming to Vegas. Who else can you recommend in town for me to work with while I'm there? And there was a point where there was a lot of different guys I was recommending, but
Mhm.
I almost had to stop doing that because I was never receiving that in reverse. I was never once, of all the
Yeah,
guys I recommended they would reach out to here in town to work with, not one time did one of those guys ever send a model my way. And I'm like, so why am I sending you work
but
if you're not doing the same for me?
yeah, you learned the valuable lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, seriously, because the truth be told is that no good. You know they say no good deed go unpunished.
Right.
They're not going to give you to them you a competition,
Right.
and because guys a lot of times they really have this damn old school mentality that they want to be the first to shoot it or really
Mm-hmm.
get it or what have you. So when they consider you competition, no, they're not going to send him to you because that means that, oh, she might like him better than he. He might, he might blow her up, but she ain't gonna want to come work with me no more. So it's kind of like they handcuff girls. Because heck, Tech, he talked about this, and I've seen this personally.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes be handcuffing chicks, and I'm
Oh yeah.
like, for what?
Yeah. You asked before, like I didn't think of this at the time, but you asked before about the blowback for working with trans. There
Yeah.
was that he still happens to be here in Vegas, but there's one particular male talent that he badmouths any guys who work with. So like he there's models I've worked with in the past, produce content with them, release content with them, then they go and they work with this other guy, and
Mhm.
he fills their head with the whole HIV stigma, which is completely bogus, about working with trans talent. And then
Mhm.
after working with him, they'll no longer work with me because he convinced them that working with me is somehow risky because of my work with
But,
trans talent. And so that's talk about
but see
the
that, see, that's just
the
stupid
guys cuff.
chicks
Yeah,
though.
it is. Yeah,
Because it's simple fact up because you taking the same fucking TTS they're taking.
exactly.
You get where I'm coming from.
Hmm.
For them to even go off of that, they already felt some type of way from shooting with you. And
Right.
see, that's what I hate. Is I'm the kind of person is like, don't fake the funk with me.
Hmm.
It thank you. Excuse what in the words of my man Jim Cornette, thank you, fuck you, bye. you
Right.
know, period. I rather not did the shoot with you because at the end of the day, that means you did it under falsehood. Like, okay, I'll do it. But then my work, my ability should be good enough to warrant a second shoot, a second look, especially if I treated you professionally,
Right.
especially if my shit made you money, especially if I actually was a fucking gentleman out this motherfucker. Regardless of who I shot with outside of that, I came with a TTS.
Hmm.
And trust me, I probably ain't fucked nothing since I took mine. You done probably fucked 3 or 4 people before I saw you. And you took yours. You feel where I'm
Right.
coming from?
No,
So it's
I
kind
do.
of you know what I'm saying. So to me, when I hear shit like that, it kind of irks me because I've been there before.
Right.
So even to the point
Uh,
that it's bullshit. It's
so
bullshit.
one of the other things I have actually planned for this year, I've spoken to a couple of guys about it already, but I need to reach out to more of them. What I want to start doing is I want to start basically, so you get into any of the porn communities, whether it's LA, Vegas, or whatever, you always got like these group chats for local talent so they could talk about,
Mhm.
hey, who's coming to town, who are you working with. I want to start a BHM focused group to where we can it just I don't want to call it a support group, but where we can sit here and say, okay, so these are the people that I've worked with, these are the models that I can recommend, and we can start collaborating, we can start sharing ideas. And what I would really like to do is I would really like to start producing content with other BHMs, so that way they're appearing on my stores and I'm appearing on their stores, whether we're doing threesomes or whatever it happens to be. I want to start producing content like that. So, because no one else is going to advocate on behalf of the BHM community. The BHM community themselves has to be the one doing the advocating. And if we can work together and collaborate and pool our knowledge and pool our resources, we can actually start making some forward progress in the industry. One of the things I don't like with COVID and Omicron and everything else, I don't think this is a good year to do it. But one of my end goals is I want to start getting these guys together. Hey, let's go to Exotica. Let's get 5 of us together and split the cost and rent a booth and have a booth of just BHM guys. You know what I mean? So we're there on equal footing with everyone else. So we're not relying, on, I can only get a ticket to Exotica because one of the sites I sell on is a sponsor and I can get it. No, like let's take control of our own destiny and try to get the word out. And if we make that movement, if we gain in that popularity, we can start trying to get some of these studios to take us a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, because I mean, to be honest with you, to me, it's like I said, it's a place for everything.
There is, absolutely.
And to me, like I said, I applaud you, my man, as well as Head Tech, my man, Rico Blaze. We need to see more guys with guts lay the pipe to these chicks, man.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Damn it.
Shit. You said it when we first started talking that you're absolutely right that the guys watching porn more often than not look like us than they look like the guys with the 6-pack abs suiting for the studios.
Yeah, because sorry, the Uber man is not Rome Major. Let's keep it real. the pizza guy, yeah, okay. I don't need to go there. Most definitely. But like I said, I took a look at your work and you do good shit, man. I've been watching you for a minute. I've been seeing your name. So you been ringing bells. It was like the first time I think I saw you. I was like, okay, Big Daddy got he get that. I was like, oh, he had some names with that shit too. I said, okay. You know what I'm saying? But to me, like I said, it's just crazy that you have to experience bullshit because of your size. Not because of your professionalism, not because you work, because of your size, which is very, very sad to me. Because to me, as hard as it is to find professional talent, let's make this clear, people. It's professional talent. Let me explain to you what professional talent is. He keeps it up and he busts the nut when it's time and get it right back up again for another one. That's a good talent. He gives you what you need. It's not a question. You know how hard it is, regardless of what size. Like I said, man, ladies, y'all need to holler at my man. Give him some work. I'm just saying. Speaking about that, tell everybody where they can spend some money on you, brother.
All right, so I have to spell out my name because I decided to use like the 2 least common spellings of both my names. So Vinnie, Vinnie, O'Neil, Oneill. Google me. You can find me on Pornhub. You can find me on ManyVids, on OnlyFans, on Twitter, and you talked about all my links at the beginning. I have all my links as well. Just go to VinnieO'Neil.com and that'll take you to all my links where I have links to all my different platforms.
Yeah. See, all my links, y'all gonna have to give me some sponsorship money because I swear we plug y'all heavy at the show. I swear to God. So look, I'm about to bring you back so we can chop it up again, man. For real.
All right, yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to talk some more.
I'm about to bring you back, most definitely. So with that being said, people, you know how we always end this. Life is a learning experience. What's the point of the experience? You didn't learn anything. Smoke this over. Thank you for coming, Vinnie.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Black Wall Street is now online, baby. That's right. Visit the GW District. Shop the very best in men's and women's apparel and accessories, home decor, office supplies, books, pantry items, and so much more. The GW District is a retail marketplace of Black-owned products and media. We're both veteran and Black-owned, and we're bringing you the best online shopping experience with products made by small businesses. Come and experience the GW District difference today at shopgwdistrict.com. That's shopgwdistrict.com. The GW District, a retail marketplace of Black-owned products and media.
That's right. That's right.